is Valley News Live at 4.
Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to break away from that trial coverage now to bring you a Valley News Live at 4. More than 100 Morehead High School students staged a walkout to protest the death of Daunte Wright and support both the Black Lives Matter and Stop Asian Hate movements today. It was a student-driven initiative. The teens made their way to Romkey Park, marching down the sidewalks of Morehead. Many of the students shared their experiences dealing with racism, whether it be microaggressions in class to being called racial slurs by other students and members of the community.
Because this is not right. I have a little sister, she's 7, and she's already experiencing racism. I don't know how to explain it to her. I don't know what to tell her. How do I tell a 7-year-old that this is going to happen to you for the rest of your life? And there's nothing you can do about it. All I can tell her is you have to be strong and you're going to be okay.
The students intended to stay out for the entire school day. The prosecution and the defense laid out their closing arguments today in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. Michael George has the latest from Minneapolis, where the nation is anxiously awaiting the verdict.
The defendant was on top of him for 9 minutes and 29 seconds.
The prosecution implored the jury to find Derek Chauvin guilty.
Use your common sense. Use your common sense. Believe your eyes. What you saw, you saw.
In a lengthy closing argument, the state said the former Minneapolis police officer chose pride over policing when he pinned George Floyd down last May.
The kind of ego-based pride that the defendant was not going to be told what to do.
I submit to you that the state has failed to meet its burden of proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
The defense argues Floyd died of underlying heart disease and drug use and said Chauvin's actions in context were reasonable.
The 9 minutes and 29 seconds ignores the previous 16 minutes and 59 seconds. A reasonable police officer would, in fact, take into consideration the previous 16 minutes and 59 seconds.
Minneapolis is holding its breath. 3,000 National Guard troops are stationed throughout the city, and already tensions are inflamed after the death of 20-year-old Daunte Wright at the hands of police in a nearby suburb just last week.
I really believe that justice is going to be served. And I wanted to see it firsthand.
Do you have faith in the system?
Absolutely not.
Chauvin faces charges of second-degree unintentional murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter. He took off his mask during closing arguments for only the second time during the trial. Michael George, CBS News, Minneapolis.
The prosecution has just wrapped up its closing statements. Now the jury must deliberate. Now let's get a first look at our weather with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Hutch.
Hello, Stacy. Good evening, everyone. As we have gone through our Monday on this chilly day, we do see that a few clouds are passing by the area this afternoon, but a little blue sky mixing in felt nice, although the wind has been pretty blustery. Here's a look at those clouds on visible satellite popping up in the, if we could call it the heat of the day, the heat of the afternoon. These kind of popcorn clouds will be drifting through. Nothing in the way of precipitation showing up in our area, but out to the west in eastern Montana, where you see the darker blue shades there, some hit and miss snow showers are taking place. For all of us, temperatures are in the 30s minus our northern South Dakota counties and Bismarck in the low 40s. Here's a look at your planner. 30s all evening. North winds at around 10 to 15 miles per hour with gusts to 30 miles per hour. That wind settling down a pinch, Stacy, after sunset. Coming up, I'll have details on another cold day, a chance for some flakes in the forecast, and also a warm-up. So we'll have the details and timing on all of that here in just a few seconds.
All right. Thanks so much, Hutch. A Barnesville physical education teacher and wrestling coach has been arrested for domestic assault. 26-year-old Stuart Brandt was arrested on Saturday after a dispute with his roommate over how she cleans the refrigerator. Court documents say Brandt eventually shoved her, grabbed her arms, and when she tried to pull away, he grabbed her neck. When she left the room, Brandt grabbed her arm with one hand and punched her left side with the other. Brandt has been employed by the school district for 2 years and works as the elementary PE teacher and head wrestling coach. A carjacking suspect is dead after police say he fired multiple rounds at officers. It happened yesterday in Burnsville, Minnesota. Police say a 20-year-old man was being pursued by officers for driving a vehicle with stolen plates. He crashed that car, then ran inside a nearby TGI Fridays where he stole a woman's keys. The police chase ended along I-35. Investigators say after crashing the car, the man shot at officers who then shot back. He later died at the hospital. It's unclear why the driver was being pursued by police. A Lisbon man says he's guilty of smashing a door at Senator John Hoeven's office with an axe. 30-year-old Thomas Starks pleaded guilty in U.S. District Court in Fargo for destruction of government property. Police say that on December 21st, he went into the senator's office in downtown Fargo, axe in hand, and smashed a window, causing substantial damage to the intercom system and the door frame. That damage is estimated at more than $1,000. Police say the driver of the car that struck and killed a 7-year-old girl in Rolette County has turned himself in. Joshua Forshen is charged with 2 felonies after fleeing the scene of Saturday's crash. Police say he was traveling with 2 passengers when he came across a group of children crossing the road. One child was able to make it across, but a 7-year-old girl was hit. She was airlifted to Trinity Hospital in Minot, where she died from her injuries about 2 hours later. 4 people are facing charges after a drug bust near Red Lake, Minnesota. Red Lake police conducted a search warrant at a home where they found more than 2 ounces of fentanyl, meth, and marijuana. Police also confiscated cash, a scale, and a rifle. 2 men and 2 women between the ages of 25 and 29 were arrested. They're facing charges for narcotic sales and possession. Fargo police announced a new partnership today with OK Tire to help with the recent uptick in catalytic converter thefts. There have been 137 cases of stolen converters since December, according to Sergeant Joel Erickson. OK Tire will use a flame-resistant paint on your converter and etch in a partial VIN number to make it less desirable to thieves. Sergeant Erickson says that this new initiative will help deter criminals from stealing converters.
So not necessarily devaluing. What we're looking to do is help prevent theft of these catalytic converters. So a lot of times criminals will go for crime of opportunity. So if they're under the vehicle, they'll see that the heat-resistant paint is on there, as well as the etching of a partial VIN number. We're hoping that will also deter them from stealing it, as well as if we come across someone with catalytic converters and we see these markings, our investigations units and the officers can work to help identify where that catalytic converter came from.
This service is free. FPD asks that if you see any suspicious activity, call dispatch at 701-451-7660. A statue of Christ has been vandalized in downtown Fargo, and the diocese says they've asked Fargo police to investigate. The vandalism was discovered outside of St. Mary's Cathedral on North Broadway. Someone poured black paint over the face of the statue. The diocese says it had to have happened late Friday night or early Saturday morning. The marble statue came to Fargo in 2018 from the closing Archdiocese of Cincinnati. The facilities manager is looking into ways to restore the piece without harming the marble. Cass County deputies will soon be outfitted with a new body restraint tool, and they gave us a first-hand look at how it works. It's called the Bola Remote Restraint Wrap System. It's an 8-foot tether that entangles someone by using little force. The sheriff's office calls it a less lethal use of force option.
Situations that I think have been real successful, or in a lot of the research that I've done, are individuals that might have mental health issues.
The sheriff's office has purchased 3 Bola Wrap systems, which will hit the streets in the coming weeks. All Americans 16 and older are eligible for the COVID-19 vaccine starting today. This comes as more than half of the country's adult population has now received at least 1 shot. According to the CDC, almost 130 million people 18 and older have received at least 1 dose. That's slightly more than 50% of the total adult population. Today's the first day of a mass vaccination clinic in Sisseton. It's happening now until 4 this afternoon at the Buffalo Lake Lanes Dakota Connection parking lot. This is a public event for anyone 18 and older, regardless of Indian Health Services eligibility. The same event is happening from 10 to 4 tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, Essentia Health is accepting unscheduled walk-ins at the vaccination clinic located at the former Gordemans building in South Fargo. You can go on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 1 to 7, and no appointment is needed. You do not need to be an Essentia patient to take advantage of the opportunity. Here at Valley News Live, we are thrilled to announce the launch of a new network for country music fans. The new channel is called Circle. It's a new country lifestyle network that features the best of country music, hit TV shows, and performances from the Grand Ole Opry. The network officially launches today. It's easy to see the Circle network. For over-the-air viewers, simply rescan your TV and look for KVLY 11.4. Cable and satellite subscribers should check their local listings. Circle is a joint venture between our parent company, Gray Media Incorporated, and Ryman Hospitality Properties. NASA scientists are celebrating what they say is a Wright brothers moment, the first aircraft to take flight on another planet. NASA's $80 million Ingenuity helicopter spun up off the dusty surface of Mars early this morning. With the Perseverance rover looking on from a distance, Ingenuity climbed 10 feet straight up, hovered, turned in place, then landed to complete that 30-second test flight. Up to 4 more flights are planned over the next several days, pushing the helicopter to slightly higher altitudes to put it to the test. Much more ahead on Valley News Live at 4. Next, how you can score free food and help others in need right here in the Valley.
Frosty and chilly start to our work week with teens and 20s for most to begin your Monday. Tower cam time lapse showed those afternoon cumulus clouds popcorning across the sky. I'll have details on when they might produce a few flakes right after this.